Okay, we have a few encounters to get through in this area. This first spot right here, I recommend stealth killing these two. It's totally optional, but this guy comes up and stares at us. The second that he turns away, yeah, I'm gonna go up, I'm gonna go crouched. You can even hide in that grass while prone. Spam triangle, get him, and I'm holding left right now just to drop him in this grass right here. Okay. And then I'm gonna go prone, I'm gonna go up to this tree, and she'll be our next target. Killing these two is totally optional, but it does... It's also fairly easy to pull off, just a little bit of memorization. And then the next area we can like run through. The reason is that the next area is like a part of this area, and if we get alerted, then what I'm going to show you next will totally break if you happen to get alerted. So that's why I'll recommend doing this. So she's going to walk up here, and then she'll start to go right. And she'll stop like right at the corner of this car. I'm just going to make sure she's not looking my way. There we go. Okay. So she stops at the corner of this truck. You take her out right here. All right. Now there's two more guys here, as well as a dog. So just be careful. I see that he's walking away, but make sure they're not like staring at you when you go across like this. You could just go prone as well. Now in this building, there's a lot of loot. Okay. There's also this train car that has an arrow inside of it. If we don't stealth kill those two, we need to be a little bit careful here, because there's a guy that shows up. Yeah, him right there. He'll turn around and like stare inside of this window. But this area does have like a lot of ammo and everything. A lot of things that are nice to have, including a yeah, you can see the guy like right there. See his gun. But most of the loot is like behind, before we cross that door. So go through here, collect as much loot as possible. And also in this train car, there is an arrow. Okay, so I'm coming up on the right side. Again, we looted this building. We're staying on the safe side, which is safe other than, well, right here. Again, it's that guy in the door that can spot us. He'll typically show up there. So if you're right here, yeah, there he is. You can see him right there. Fortunately, there's a patch of grass that we can be prone under. But yeah, he shows up right there, so be cautious of him. This next area we can effectively run through, but what you're going to want is a molly. Okay, so I'm just going to run up over here, and then I'm going to go prone. I'm going to go right up to this grass inside here. Okay, right up to this grass, and right when the grass ends, basically, is when we're going to start running, and there is a person with a dog that we are dedicating this molly to. So I'm going to stand up when I hear them alert, right there. Then I'm going to run, get the lock on if I can. There we go. Take out the dog, and just run through. Now, if you have smokes, if you want to exercise a little bit of caution getting shot, feel free to drop it there. You don't really have to, but sometimes if they shoot you off this door, sometimes random things can happen. Drop that smoke, and they'll be able to get through the door, no problem. Now that's also assuming that the dog has been taken out. Okay. That's it. It's a pretty simple little run-through strat. The only thing to be cautious of is be careful that you don't get alerted too early. So that starting part where we end up like in the grass, if you get alerted there, then that strat won't work at all, and you'll have to switch over to a kill all. All right, we got this view of very terrible things, and before we enter this next section, this will be effectively your last calm chance to get any upgrades that you want. Okay, now there is a workbench in here, but I'm going to recommend that you effectively just run through, and it would be effectively the last workbench of the game. But I also think it's pretty easy to sort of run through this area. But one thing you can do is work on your pill upgrades and top off all of your crafting. So some things that I think are really good are mollies. Smoke bombs, I also really like those. I mean, you get a upgraded melee weapon if you want. But also make sure you take a look at your pill upgrades. I've only picked up one training manual in this playthrough. But There are some training manuals that give you things like explosive arrows. Like now is like a really good chance to make use of all of that. This will be the last encounter, so you're gonna want to, like, don't be shy with your ammo, your materials, or anything. We want to burn through all of it. This first part here, we can run through, and I recommend that you have a pistol out in case something goes a little bit wrong, like an enemy will start to like charge us, and they can block us. That's the only reason I'll have a gun out. But you do want to make sure that you're fully healed and everything. Make sure everything's topped off. All your crafting's complete, everything. But I like to pull out a pistol here. Doesn't really matter which. Now, when I start this area, I'm already going to be holding run. And pay attention to which direction I go to here. I'm gonna run underneath an enemy, like underneath the container that they're standing on. And there will usually be a melee person charging us that, if the timing's good, we can just run right around them. But if it's bad, they'll basically be blocking us. So if they are blocking us, that's the only time I shoot. Other than that, it's basically just charging and going right to the finish. So I'm gonna start this. I'm already holding run. We're gonna go left here. I'm holding run. And Ellie won't run immediately because we're... Yeah, so I'm going to spam dodge a little bit. Okay, so we're going to run through around this truck. We're going to run through here, make sure my gun's out. Right here is where this person... Yeah, the melee person just ran to my right. But yeah, we can just run through right here. And once we enter this, we want to heal. Get your healing completely topped off. There is a room here with things like maybe a better melee weapon. Really better than the one I have. But be careful, we can't linger here for too long. Okay? In fact, I'm going to heal again because that was a pretty heavy hit. They did lose sight of us, but that's like one small run-through encounter. And the next major encounter starts right when we climb through this window. Alright, we're in this very big encounter in Santa Barbara. The very first thing you want to do is get upright, tuck inside of this column as much as you can, because there is this enemy. And I haven't talked about this enemy type with the helmet. But once they're behind this second column here, we're going to push up really fast. And right when we're here, right when we enter these flowers, we need to go prone. It looks like you want to get a stealth kill on him, but you don't want to do that because there's that guy across the pool that can spot us if he turns around. But the second that this guy turns around, we stand up and then get a stealth kill on him. That makes sure that we don't get alerted. Then immediately we want to go prone again and keep cutting around to this right side. Now, if you get caught doing any of the stealth stuff, then you're basically going to want to stay back here because there's grass, there's a few places to hide behind, but it will get very chaotic. You just need to kill an enemy and try to move around like a little bit. But the next enemy that we want to get is this guy right here. The guy that almost spotted us from before. And what we want to do is we want to pull up like right at the edge of this tall grass here and grab a silenced weapon. When his head is basically right below this this light fixture here, right there is when we want to get a headshot on him. That will tuck him right in this corner, and that will ensure that no other enemies spot him too early, okay? So this area has, as you can see, there's like a runner. Actually, the prior area did. We just ran through it. A runner and a couple of clickers tied up. Now this guy here in the blue shirt will be our next target. But what we want to do is basically set them free, and this will cause all sorts of chaos. So outside of memorizing these first 3 kills, there's not a whole lot more that you need to memorize in terms of stealth kills. But we're going to peek around this corner. And once he stops, you can totally shoot him, by the way, through this rail. Like, don't worry if the rail's like a little bit in the way. But once he's done, we're going to stay prone. We're going to go up behind this grass over here. And here are where the 2 clickers are at. Now, if you get alerted, you use a loud weapon or something, you start running around, the infected will likely target you, and you can't pull this off. So you'll have to ignore this, and you'll just have to take out all the enemies by yourself. Okay? But here's like advantage. You see that there's a guy upstairs with a helmet and everything. I'm just making sure that he's kind of like looking away here. He'll take another peek here, but there is grass that we can fall into right here, which we can go prone into. Now these clickers, they're not alerted yet. So I press triangle on this and they're not moving or anything, okay? Now there is a runner on the other side as well that again has not been alerted at all, but they are very aggressive. Like they are just trying to run already. They're very awake. So again, when I see nobody here, I'm gonna stay crouched. I don't know why I stood up there. Again, I'm just gonna stay prone and go like all the way back around over here. You can, by the way, go around this pool and try to get some other headshots, but it'll likely cause an alert. And we won't really make use of the infected here. So we're basically just going all the way back around, and then when we release that runner, the runner is going to run in. The Rattlers are going to freak out. They're going to start shooting, which is going to alert the clickers. The clickers are then going to go in, and they're going to do quite a bit of work. Now, how much work they actually do is going to vary. But again, we're just going down over to here. And we're going to just get up right on these stairs. Right when we see triangle, we're going to press it. The runner's going to take off, and they are just going to start causing all sorts of alerts. This is pretty fun to pull off. Now, what we want to do is get a good vantage point, and that's right here, right where we killed this guy. We're going to climb up here, and then we're going to go prone. Now, this looks like it's a pretty safe spot, but it's not. You see that? They took a shot. They didn't realize that the other clickers were released. So they're just going to start running in. Now, like I said, this is not a safe spot. During this chaos, like a Rattler might run over there and spot you, okay? So just be cautious of that. But now it's basically just like waiting them out, seeing how much the infected can take out some of the Rattlers. So while we're here enjoying the show, that very first enemy that we took out had a helmet. Yeah, we got a stray. See that? I got caught right there. So I could probably stay back here too, but the infected and Rattlers can climb up right here. But yeah, the first enemy type, they had a helmet. Interesting thing about that helmet is that an arrow can one headshot take them out. So reserve your arrows for them as much as possible. You also have a lot of enemies here with shotguns, and you need to be very cautious of them because they really hurt. Yeah, so one thing to keep in mind with this area is that typically the infected lose. It's very rare that they win. So what you can do sometimes is try to help them out a little bit. This guy's very distracted and everything, but of course the other Rattlers are starting to shoot him. So in this moment, you can effectively try to take out some of the other infected here, or the other enemies. You can get headshots on enemies, and if you had a rangefinder, that's so much easier. So much easier to pull off, but yeah, the infected just totally died there, even though I helped them out a little bit. Oh no, they're still alive, nice. Oh, never mind, spoke too soon. So this is like a good moment just to work on your arrow headshots on the enemies with helmets. But yeah, you gotta be careful here because they will climb up. Only a couple of them will climb up though. At this stage, you just want to start picking them off one by one. This is a relatively safe area, but it's not perfect. They were fortunately weak enough that a body shot was enough to take them out. But yeah, just be careful. There's this guy. He's gonna climb up here. Where's he at? Get rid of him here. This is my spot. So yeah, you always need to be aware, just in case, that like you don't want anyone to climb up on, like sneak up behind you and then shotgun you. Now, unfortunately, I'm out of arrows. Oh, I can craft one though. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Craft a few here. I say arrows are really nice. There's also an arrow down by this little area with target practice over there. But man, this is a really long shot. Oh, I can't get it, damn it. Not with the arrow drop there. But yeah, you want these enemies that have a helmet and like a big gun are really such a pain to deal with.
Connor, there!
Yeah, just pick them off one at a time, best you can. Get this. I'm gonna duck down. There we go. There's the arrowhead shot. I'm going blind with this reticle here. Now there's a point where like I don't think I can hit him with a drop at all. I think it'll hit. Also, I don't even have any arrows. So yeah, I'm gonna just drop down. At some point, after you picked off a few, you just need to start making your way up. But again, arrows are really big for those helmeted headshots. Also mollies, like don't be shy about that. There's like this guy right here.
Out of the way.
Didn't kill him. Get him now. Does he need a little bit of help? He does.
Okay.
Yeah, like I say, smoke bombs are really nice. Watch out for this guy right here, because he hurts. So you want to take care of this guy. He has a big gun, a shield, he has big gun armor, and a helmet. Now we have, what, a melee guy? Yeah, you got to be real careful in this area. They will, a lot of them just like hide forever. So just keep inspecting it and make your way forward one at a time. All right, I think this is the last guy here. Okay, so the last guy's taken out. There's loot. And yeah, it's definitely the last guy because the music dies down. So when the music dies down from like that sort of like heartbeat sort of vibe that they have going on, then you know it's like safe to basically run around. Okay, right when we enter this area with the stairs, we are gonna have a couple of enemies spawn. So we just need to be a little bit careful. There's actually a good opportunity. If you have a trap mine, you can like drop it like right on the stairs there. But yeah, we do need to be careful here. We can bring them down if we hit this. Okay, well, we'll hop down anyway.
It's over.
So you hear that's not the only person. They are likely hiding up top. Here we go. That is a shotgunner, very dangerous, so we've got to be extra careful with them. Let's see, there we go. Fortunately, we can kind of like loop around. Okay, so again, those two enemies, I'm pretty sure they spawn once we cross like a certain trigger in here, so just be careful of that. And again, we're gonna hear the music die down. Okay, so once you grabbed all the loot, coming out to this area here, this is gonna start when there's like some trigger like around here, we'll hear some dialogue. And then there's a lot of enemies here. It's a very small area, so it's very tough to get through. And I kind of think the easiest way to get through here is using smoke bombs, not stun. Hopefully you have smoke upgraded. I recommended that way back at Elite Day 2. You get that, so hopefully you have that equipped. And this is effectively what we do in speedrunning. The idea is that we want to make a line of smokes all the way down. At some point, like we need to get close, kind of close to the door, or at least halfway. Make a line of smoke. Just do one after the other, and we basically have these sort of like safe areas. Now, this isn't perfectly safe necessarily, but considering all the other strats that you could do here, I think it's probably the easiest thing to pull off. If you're low on smokes, another thing you can do is potentially use mollies, though they won't protect you. All they'll do is like stun other enemies. So what we want to do is hug the left side and go like straight through there as much as possible. And we need to run at the very beginning. But once I enter this room here, I'm going to kind of be on the left side a bit, and I'm going to be crouched. Okay. So pay attention to where I go crouched and everything, and then we're going to go right up to a table, and I'll sort of call out the rest. All right. Like I said, we're going to run up here, going to run inside, going to go crouched, hug the left side here.
It's gotta be a fucking stray. Shit.
Hug the left side. So we're going to pass this table. We're going to go right here. So pay attention to where I throw these smokes. One right there. We're going to run into the smoke, throw another one, run into the smoke, throw another one, run into the smoke. And you know what? That was only 3 that I needed. If you have more, just feel free to use it, and you just hop over this rail. And that's effectively it. So ideally you want to save all of your smokes for that area. But there are some crafting materials around, and you can top them off. Outside of that, if you did not want to pull off that strat, you need to have a ton of ammo and other materials just to take out the rest of the enemies. So that's unfortunately what I recommend. There's a little bit of nuance to that strat in the very beginning, but I also think it's probably the easiest way to